Hi, welcome to GF channel. Today we are replacing the reflector headlights with the projector headlights. Now these are simple to do in sense of instructions, but they take a lot of time because it's a lot of effort. Since you see those vertical lines, these are on the glass. They need to be removed, which is a lot of work to do. On newer cars, these are actually plastic, and the lines are within the reflector itself, the newer reflector cars, which do not have projectors in them. But since this is actually old, we need to remove this. So here I have it removed. It looks quite nice. You can still see some scratches, but you need to be really close. If you stand like that, there's no way you can see it. You need to be really close in order to be able to see it. Now, I did a few other tries, not doing glass, but actually with plastic. I'm going to show you in a bit. But for now, let me first show you how this looks like when it's shining. I'll place a halogen bulb in it to also show you, and then I'll power on this one to show you the difference. And then I'm going to show you how this one looks on the sun, and then we are going to actually cover how to make it. We're actually going to make the other one right there, because it's still like that. Okay, original one with LED. This is the original one with halogen bulb. There is definitely a line now. And this is the projector headlight. There's a sharp line now. And this is how it looks like in daylight. The sun is shining quite strong. It looks good, I believe. I still need to make the cap fit, but since I cannot drill in the middle, this is not in the middle, I plan to actually drill from the front. Okay, let's go upstairs. Okay, as always, I try to be as helpful as possible, so there are two ways we can deal with the lines on the glass. I did try one way, it did not work out for me, so I did the other way. And that's the glass we are going to today take apart. Now, the taking apart, you can use heat gun, but that's not good. I actually used heat gun on one of my previous videos where I actually changed the motor inside. I used heat gun. Then it's more like two-person job, because one has to constantly heat, and you can heat too much the glass and it can break, so be careful with that. The second approach is actually using an oven, which is much easier. I did that when I was comparing this headlight to the pre-facelifted headlight. You just preheat the oven on 130 degrees for 7 minutes, place this inside for 7 minutes, and after that I used this screwdriver that now has lots of glue on it, but after that I bought these are specially made to open up headlights, so I'm going to use these today. But you simply need to remove these. They're here, on all the places you see, and then find one spot where you can stuck something. Like here, there's a bit of spot, but here it's better. Just place it here, twist if it's a screwdriver, if it's this, just press, and everything is so melted that it's going to be extremely easy to open it. And since you're not going to use too much heat, 130 degrees is nothing for the glass, you should be good to go. And after that, to close it, I use another new glue. This is how to open and how to close. That's the easy part. Now the hard part is removing that. Initially, I thought I'm going to do plastic, because it was looking much easier at the time. The best thing I did as a result is this one. Of course it's dirty, but you can see it's not perfect, and especially on the sides, which are not visible, yes, but still this is very ugly, very ugly. The main problem was that my oven was not big enough and I couldn't fit properly the plastic piece. So this was holding the plastic piece when it's heated and just press, but yeah, not big enough oven. Then I tried with something that's more narrow, so I can actually press like that, but again it did not happen. But the main idea is you remove with sandpaper here from that part which you made yourself, you remove with sandpaper, and after that heat this one quite a lot and heat the plastic quite a lot and just place it. I figured out with this one it's much easier to do like that. It makes the surface flush, it's very good, but these break extremely easy. That's why I had some C200 added to the mix. That's what I use for the mix. I don't know how it's in English actually. Does it has an English here? No. Deutsch, no, I don't know how it's in English, how it's called in English, but that breaks very easily. And also you can see the glass, how much pieces I had. Initially they were not so many, but after every time I make a mold they increase. Fortunately you can just use some tape to tape it and it's good enough. This is my release agent, so it doesn't stick. And that's pretty much it. I tried multiple times, as you can see, but did not happen. So I actually even scrapped the project at some point. But then I decided, let's give another shot to actually removing the grooves from within the glass. This is actually the LEDs. This is after we open it. But what you do need, of course, some protection, because there will be nasty particles when removing the glass. These are discs which I used. These are diamond discs. You can see they have been used. I've used, this one was actually bought afterwards. I used mainly 200, 400, 800, these are all dry, and then 1500. I'm not happy with how it turned out because I had some very deep grooves. The reason probably is this is too big for the glass. When you place it in the glass, when I remove the glass, I'm going to show you, of course. When this is in the glass, this is too big, a little bit too big, but this is way bigger. Now I can cut it to form the shape, but it's going to be again big because of this. I'll have to cut this, and I think I'm going to ruin it if I try to cut it. Instead, what I did is, when you place this one here, I was forcing it to bend like that, but still this left two deep grooves. So this time around I think I'm going to just skip probably 400 as well. 200 and 400, I'm going to try to skip them and directly go with the 800, and let's see what happens. I'm hoping I'm not going to have that deep grooves. We'll see. Afterwards, when you remove the main grooves, what you need to do then is to start doing it by hand using sandpaper. So I went with 400, then 600. I have two of those 400. This is wet one, so there is a 600 here. then 800, then it was 1000, P1000, and then 2000. So I went with these multiple times because this was the grooves were too deep that these discs did. But what's important is this cannot stand the glass that well. Only with like 5 circles and you throw away the piece. So I use small pieces. I'm going to show you, of course, in a bit. I use small pieces to just rub small circles 5 times, throw out the piece. I did that multiple times. It's exhausting. And you need a marker, permanent one, so you can actually draw on the glass where the deep grooves are, and you keep doing this until the permanent marker is no longer there. And you do that multiple times and it's good. After that, to polish it, I forgot the polishment. Okay, it's here. For the polishing part, you need this one, and wait for it, I forgot the most important part. And this one. So this is, I believe, Polish made CE02. With this, apparently the glass is being polished the best. So this is powder, 1:1, I believe somewhere it was saying. I cannot understand it, but there was 1:1. Yeah, here it says 1:1. With this and this one, even though again this is bigger, it was good enough to polish the glass. And because you cannot use the marker, I use this tape on the outside of the glass to actually guide me to where I need to polish the most. Okay, and this marker, the scissors are for here, and this marker is actually for that part. So this covers the glass, how we deal with the glass. Now when you open this one, inside we need to place the projector itself. Now this projector is no good because it's too big. So this is the projector. It has a cap, it looks nice with the cap, but even without the cap, it's too big. So I do not recommend using this one. The exact dimensions, like inches of diameter, will be in the description because I do not remember, unless here it says something. Of course, it says something 25, maybe it's a 2.5 inches, I don't know. I'm going to place it in the description, but this one is no good. It's too big for this headlight. But I already bought it, so I'm going to use it. As you saw already, it's used in the car. This will go away, but we're going to cover this one in a bit. This one is actually used to paint. This is a quick paint, although it's just a metallic marker. You should probably use some paint, but since I'm not sure I'm going to use these, I've been doing car modifications for a few years now, and what I learned is don't be perfect from the first time, because it's not going to be the last time. So for now I'm going to use this marker to just make the black plastic which is beneath, if you remove this cap, to make it, instead of black, silver. It's good enough. You probably, if I didn't tell you it's a marker, you wouldn't understand. It's a marker. And then LEDs. Now this has another problem, and it's the size of the hole. It's maximum, I believe, 8 or 9 millimeter LED. So you need special LEDs. These are dual color LEDs. I'm going to probably have another video for them. So special LEDs are also required. Okay, I believe I exhausted myself with explaining what I did try and what it did work in the end. Let's now open this one and maybe start with this one, because it's way easier than the glass. Okay, forgot to mention two things. I actually don't even have one of them available, but here you're going to have to use some kind of Dremel or something like that to cut a little bit of this, and then I use the same marker to paint the cut because this is too big. But this is if you use the same thing. If you use smaller one, you won't have to cut anything from here. And while this one is what I showed you earlier that I did not do, is drill the cap. So idea is before we actually place in the reflector, drill with the drill bit here a hole on the cap, and then use this to widen. My LED is 20 something millimeters diameter, and this goes to 32, I believe. It doesn't want to focus, but it says 32 here, so this is good enough. Okay, now let's open the headlight. That's hot. Okay, with one hand it's a little bit harder. I thought with this new tool it will be easier, but as you can see it's not that. Oh, that's hot. Okay, glass is off, and that's with the oven again preheated at 130 for 7 minutes. Okay, before we install the projector, we need to do a few things. First, and most important, we need to drill a hole in the cap at the back, because the LED is going to stick out. Then we need to remove this cap because it's too big for here. It's just not fitting with the cap. And remove this. This is for the high beams. We're not going to use it, and also it's going to lower the diameter of the whole thing when we remove it. We have high beams here, so this plays in our good this time. And finally, my quick and dirt and cheap way of painting the black plastic to something silver. Okay, I'll drill now. I'll remove the cap, and I'll show you how things fit before painting and doing stuff. Okay, I've drilled it, and I'm not happy because it looks like it's in the center, the hole, but it's definitely not in the center. So when I'm widening the hole, I have to widen it in that direction to compensate for the mistake. Now, another interesting thing is this does not fit. You're supposed to push it on the other side. But nonetheless, this does not fit. It was the same with the other reflector. Just a little bit of scrubbing here is enough, because only the thread, it's a little bit thicker, the thread. A little bit of scrubbing fixes it. Other than that, this is how it looks like without the cap. I'm going to now remove these screws to remove the plastic so I can paint it, and to be able to access this part to remove it. Okay, so this I'll need to now just draw on it. Of course, clean this with rubbing alcohol so it's clean, and leave it to dry. This is a metallic marker, but probably you should paint it. We'll see, it's just an experiment. And here we have a little bit more work, because when we remove this, by removing those two screws, we will be able to pull this. By removing it, this will be left without a spring. So what we need to do is use glue and just place the glue here and leave it like that to dry overnight, and then remove this. So I'll do this and this, leave them to dry. Okay, that's how it looks like when it's painted. I have this thing at the back, and it sits like that. I've used this Japanese made engineer tool. I'm very happy with the brand engineer, made in Japan, to widen the gap a little bit. As you can see, that's pretty much all the material I got out of it. A little bit, just so this one goes in. And there's another problem. I believe this one is supposed to be here, but again, that part here is too big to fit. It does not fit here. We'll have to moderate, but this is supposed to be here, so when you're tightening the nut, it sits on it. Okay, and the other thing I did is I removed this along with all of the metal clips and stuff that were here, and they were sticking out at the bottom, so we gained space. Okay, let's assemble it. This part is done. Okay, that's where we start. First things first, you should concentrate mainly on those, because that's I noticed this is where the light goes out from the projector. It goes through that part, the lower part, not the top part. Unfortunately, the lower part is even more, it has even more grooves. This one is not that grooved. I've added some tape this time. This sits lower, the tape sits lower, so hopefully when I start seeing this starts to peel off, it will give me some idea where I'm at. And just in case, I also added it on the other side, but that's just a guide. So I will start with the 800 and see how it goes. Okay, this is with 200. Actually 400 did not do anything, 800 as well. So I had to go with 200, and I did that for half an hour. And yes, I scratched on the outside, so I'll have to fix that. So maybe if you're doing this, just make sure you place more tape here. Okay, and I don't know if it's visible on the video, but I have deep grooves. The same deep grooves actually appeared, so that makes the next part harder. Okay, I will now start increasing the values again until I go to 1500, and let's hope this actually goes away by that time. I'll actually use the marker now to see if that helps. Okay, no good. I removed the deeper grooves. There are a few dots here, but they won't be visible by the end, but more appeared. So the more I try to fix, the more I actually do. Which means I'll have to revert back to the thing I did previously, and using wet sandpaper by hand. So now I'm going to clean everything, mark these with a marker, and start removing them, as well as fixing this, which became bigger. Okay, I have marked where the deep grooves are. Here, there are some here, and I actually scratched this time the sides. I'll try to fix it, though this is not that important because it's hidden by the turn light. So I have cut those. This is enough for my fingers, so I can twist, and it's small enough not to be a problem for here. I have not a lot. These are not way from enough. But when I exhaust those, I'll check the condition and repeat multiple times with 400. and then I start increasing. Okay, after a day, half a day of work in the afternoon, that's what I did. This is with 400 wet. The main part is actually perfect this time. I'm very happy. The mistakes I made are actually quite visible. I'm not happy with the mistakes. We'll see how they look like tomorrow. This one is on the side, so I'm not that stressed about it. But this one is definitely not on the side and it's definitely visible. We'll see. So, the plan is for today to finish everything, even polish it tonight, because it's already dark outside. I'll work a few hours more, but since this is the hardest part I did, this is actually all I have remaining. This is 600, 800, 8000, and here I have 2000. I have the last time I did that was I had 4 regions, not 4, 8 regions, here, 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 and here, and I was actually using those regions to using those on each region. So this one for here, this one is for here, this one is for here, and you get the idea. And do all of that 4 times at least. I was doing the last time 4 to 5 times, depending on the how much it when I was cutting, how many of those were there. Now I do not have enough sandpaper this time, so only 3 rolls here, as you can see. But this time this is in much better condition, so I guess I won't need that much. The most important one, the 600, I have enough, I believe. For the rest I have a little bit less, but we'll see. I'll do all of that plus polishing, and tomorrow when I woke up and this is dry, we'll see the result. If it's good enough, perfect. If it's not good enough, I'll have to start all over and I'll have to buy new sandpaper. Okay, everything is done. This is the result. I believe it could be much better, but I also believe it won't be visible when it's on the headlight. Now I'm going to use the polishing compound I showed you earlier. I'll polish it and I'll leave it to dry, and we'll see the result in the morning. And that's how it's supposed to look like with the CEO2 1:1. It should be quite thick, not liquid. Okay, I'm not happy. There are a lot of scratches here remaining and a lot of here, so I need to do another pass. Okay, and this is after another pass. There is still something here, but everything else, a bit of here maybe, everything else is quite good. Now there are a few places for polishing, like here in the middle, but I broke off my polisher. Nonetheless, this looks way better than the other, so I'm going to place it like that. And there seems to be here on the outside, I don't know if I did it or a rock hit it earlier when it was actually on a car. So I'm not putting too much effort in this one because it may break. Let's see first if it breaks. Other than that, now it's time to cut here. You can see this is too big, and I had to actually squeeze hard this one and pull this one up so I can place this plastic piece. So we need to actually cut this thing so this drops down, otherwise it's non-adjustable. And I can try, let's hope I don't break it. Try to place it in. So it's always better to see an end result which looks nice. It's not bad. Here it's a little bit blurry, but I believe it's better. There are no deep grooves. Cool. Let's cut this one and actually close the whole thing. Okay, and that's where I cut those pieces with this, and then using the knife, X-Acto knife, to actually remove the little bumps. And I've already placed new glue inside of the channel here, from here, so it's ready to be placed in the oven. Again, the same procedure, 130 degrees for 7 minutes with the glass, including the glass there, and then squeeze it and place the caps here. They will actually tighten it. Okay, last step before we mount everything is to actually make the cap. Now, as you can see, this cap I did not do good because there is a hole here, other than that, and a hole here. It was not good. This time around this seems more centered actually. Maybe this is good, we'll see. I'll do it. Fortunately, I have so many of these caps that I can actually try again and again until I make it fit better. And also it might fit this one, but in the future I might change these to something that's bigger, and then that one may actually be better. So I'll draw the cap now, so this sticks out in that way, and place them on the car. Okay, engine is running, and you can see there's no shaking or anything. It's already warmed up. Looks awesome. This is the line I need to adjust to make it higher. The adjustment works. Let me just turn on the yellow lights. So these are with the yellow LEDs. This is a dual color LED. I'm going to make a future video on that because currently it's uncontrollable. I want to make it controllable. So it's another project which is upcoming. But with yellow it's more visible the line. You can actually see how it's raising, but that's the maximum it can raise. You can lower it a lot. It's mostly visible there, that line, and here maybe. Let me find the switch again. You can see how it lowers and now raises. I need to use the manual adjustment to actually raise it because it's too low. Okay, let's go outside and show you the final result on the daylight. And so this is how it looks like during daylight. It's just awesome. I love it. I really do. Let me turn them on. This is with them on. Now, one thing I should have done, and I noticed in the dark, is there's light coming outside of this when there used to be a cap, and now light is going outside. It's reflecting from the reflector, and there are like bubbles on the wall, certain beams of light going towards the wall. But it's not bad for first try. Yeah. Okay, that's all. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe. I'll be posting more videos soon. Bye bye.